We got here, a couple of cute patients were very truly thankful that I showed up. And I was saying, in 22 years, I have never not been able to show up. There may be a time, but despite like hurricanes, the COVID, all kinds of stuff, and snow, I'm always able to make it. Anyway, just took off my snow hat, cleaned off my car, and this is what I wanted to chat about. I was listening yet again to a podcast at 1.5 speed in my 15-minute drive this morning. And the podcaster, actually the guest, said she had just heard a term, strong beliefs. Now I've forgotten. I just looked it up again. Strong beliefs loosely held. Now apparently that must be enough of a saying that when I did the Google of it, the Google had a lot of different iterations of it, but strong beliefs loosely held, I couldn't really find the origin of it. Maybe something biblical, though in fact, this podcast guest was Mormon, talking about the whole mindset coaching. And the coincidence, I love these coincidences, is that today on Labor and Delivery, one of our hospital's clergy people came by, and he was wonderful, and he said, hey, is that what everyone's doing? I just want to check in, see how y'all doing, which is so nice on a Saturday when it's snowing. And by the way, I don't see him a lot, so this was once again a little coincidence to be like thinking of this, thinking and reading that there might be some biblical reference that I couldn't find. So I posed the question to him, and he very appropriately and aptly said, I don't know, I gotta think about it. My interpretation of strong beliefs loosely held really melds with my nothing is ever only, everything is always and. Many people who know me well, or maybe even you on the Insta who don't know me well, would say, you clearly have strong convictions. Like, I am clearly a person who believes deeply. It's like one of my superpowers and a flaw, right? Because I think anyone who believes so deeply and has convictions, and has many convictions. I mean, I have convictions about deep emotional things and, ethical things and like completely superficial things, right? And they're all like deeply held beliefs, strong beliefs. I would actually say that I loosely hold them. And you might not know that about me. You might on the surface think, okay, she's clearly aggressive. She clearly has these beliefs. She must be dogmatic, like any loud person who seems extroverted. I think the understanding must be like, oh, you assert yourself and this is what you believe. But I actually really mean it when I have felt that I loosely hold these beliefs, and I didn't realize it. So I like when there is a saying that helps highlight a feeling that I've had that I couldn't put into words. So my interpretation is that I think for any of us, we have to have some deeply held beliefs. And I don't think this means that you have to like sway with the wind and let people convince you of things that you didn't think you'd believe in. It's not I'll just, go with the highest bidder who's convinced me of something different. It is that my beliefs, what I've really nuggeted it down to, are not specifics, right? Like I've said about my kids, I do not want to raise them to be doctors or lawyers or engineers or like to make money or to do any one thing. I have zero attachment to what thing they choose to be or do, but for my strongly held belief that they be independent and resilient. And as I've always said, if we raise humans to be independent and resilient, every single other positive aspect will trickle down from there. I challenge you to challenge me with an example of a human that you're going to say, oh, well, that person's independent, but where does that work? Because that person's not a good person. And I would say humans who repeatedly transgress others' rights and humanity and happiness are not actually resilient. They may be independent financially, but they're not resilient, because resilient humans would never tear others down. So all this to say, strongly beliefs loosely held, you all might have heard it. Tell me your experiences with it. I think it's brilliant. When I Googled it, what I also found was that in the business world, there's a variation of it. Strong beliefs weakly held. I don't like the word weak. I think words are powerful, and weak is inherently pejorative. And so there's a lot of dissent within the business community, if you're business people, if you've heard and learned this term. But again, strong beliefs loosely held, I think it's something we can all learn from, especially right now in this climate of political dissent. I think that if both sides feel strongly, feel deeply but loosely hold the actual last thing and try to listen to each other. Wouldn't we be better off? And unfortunately, it's just devolved into if you believe in vaccines, then you must be wanting to harm us because vaccines have not been proven to be safe and there is a conspiracy theory. That's one side. And the other side is, if you don't get a vaccine, then you are clearly deeply selfish and do not care about anyone else who has the opportunity. And both of these sides are wrong. I think we all know where I fall on the side of vaccines. I'd like you all to get your vaccine, and I do think from a public health perspective it makes sense. I understand there are small groups of individuals who legitimately cannot get it. Outside of that, I think the rest of the people are using politics, whether they realize it or not. So that's my little Saturday nugget, day in the life of the doctor. I'm going to go try to buy some dog rawhide because we're out, and if there's anywhere open, I'm going to get them. And then I'm going to go home and hang out with my family and children who will probably drive me crazy. That's it. Hope you all have a good Saturday. Tell me your nuggets. Do you relate to strong beliefs weakly held, which goes along with my nothing is ever only, everything is always and. There are 2 sides to all of it. Actually, there's 20 sides to all of it. Bye.